So it's fairly late. It's after 10 p.m. on my clock over here. Um, Before I start, I just want to say my dad is alive. The way I'm talking about him sounds like he died, but he did not. He is still alive. But in around 2004, so about 21 years ago, my dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. In 2013, he got the deep brain stimulators to control his tremors, and it sort of did, except for his feet and his legs, his right leg. And he still needs to take like the levodopa to control the tremors more completely, because if you adjust the settings on his DBS, up or down, he gets side effects. So it's kind of always a delicate balance. Towards the end of March, he threw up and developed some diarrhea and ended up in the emergency room with what turned out to be a UTI. Let's see, it was March. When was it in March? The end of March. I don't want to get into dates and just slow myself down. So 3 days after that, he came home, immediately had diarrhea, and then he wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink, and he had to go back to the hospital. And that was when my mom and my sister basically dropped on their butts with norovirus that they had caught somewhere at that hospital. So anyway, nobody was in any condition to take care of him or able to take care of him, so he was sent to a rehab facility in Newport Beach. I'm in the area of Disneyland, so that's about 30 miles or 30 minutes away from me. 30 miles. No, it's more like 20 miles. But it's about 30 minutes when traffic is decent and 45 when it's bad. And so we can't go every day. And I only go on Wednesdays. That's my boundary. So he went to this place, the Cliff place, I'll call it. And he was there for about a week. And then we noticed that when he would talk, he would move his mouth but not make any sound. And no matter what we tried to do, he wouldn't make any sound. And then they discovered that his electrolytes were going out of whack. Like his calcium was way sky high through the roof, and his sodium was low, and his iron was low. And he started spitting out any kind of food they'd give him, even pureed food. And he started to go downhill and get really sick again. So he got sent back to the hospital where they stabilized him, and he looked like he had like late end stage dementia, but he doesn't, I don't think. But he's just wasn't quite right. And unfortunately, because of his DBS stimulators in his brain and the batteries in his chest that are like pacemakers, he can't get an MRI, but doctors there suspect he might be having small strokes, so it could be he could be developing vascular dementia. I don't know, because vascular dementia just happens when, the blood supply to very small, like, areas of the brain are slowly cut off, and it just slowly spreads. But his face doesn't look right. The way he's moving around and interacting with the world isn't right. And he still cannot speak understandably. It's like he knows what he wants to say. And he has the rhythm of speech, but it's just you can't understand anything he says. It's just every now and then he'll get out a word that's understandable, like one word. Although I got him to say a sentence jokingly. He said, "Stop, damn it," as a joke. jokingly to me. But it made me freeze because that's something he's done to hurt me before. Because, well, I'll just keep going. So, when he was at the hospital, they had to put in a PEG tube. That is a percutaneous enterogastrostomy tube. PEG tube. It's a tube that's in his stomach, you know, down in here. You know, the button is down there and it's got like this long tube that comes off it, kind of like an umbilical cord. And that's how he's getting a lot of his nutrition, because he's just spitting out things. And it's like he's struggling to swallow. And my mom was hoping that the feeding tube would make him regain strength so that he could start therapy, you know, physical therapy and speech therapy and stuff. But I'm beginning to think that's not gonna work out. So my dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's young, 'cause he just turned 76. Today is his birthday, 76th birthday. So he was diagnosed when he was about 55. So, yeah, he had pretty young onset Parkinson's. And here's the conflict. My dad is my abuser, my emotional abuser. He's hurt me my entire life. And he has been a detriment to my mental health all throughout his Parkinson's journey, not because he's become disabled, but because all these years of medical crises and upheavals and stuff has just worn me down mentally. And I've been trapped in this house as one of two caregivers in this house, my mom, and she's beginning to, you know, her back is going out. She's beginning to not be able to do it, and I'm worried she's going to drop dead, to be honest. My mom is going to be 80 years old this year. My parents are 4 years apart. So I'm conflicted because on one hand, he's not in the house. He's not here to constantly trigger me. And, you know, some of my trauma symptoms have actually exacerbated and magnified because there's like a sense of it's safe. So all these things are coming out that usually get held in, which that's a lot of fun. Not. But seeing my mom be so sad is really hard because she really thought the feeding tube would perk him up, and it doesn't seem to be. I don't know. And if they discharge him for a lack of progress, I don't know if he's going to come home, because even my mom has finally been able to admit, although let's see if she sticks to it, but she finally said the word nursing home, and hopefully one close by where she can go see him every day. Because part of why he's deteriorating is probably because he can't see us every day. And it used to be we were always around him. And there's a part of me that wants him to go to wants to say to him, "Suck it up, Dad." You know, I've felt pretty abandoned by everybody for a long time. So you need to just suck it up and work. And on the other hand, I feel sorry for him because when I am not responsible for dealing with his crap and his problems and all that, when I can be a daughter, it's sad because that's my daddy. That's my dad. You know, that's one of two people who gave me life in this world. And even though I gripe about him a lot and he is a source of trauma, I still do love him because he's my dad. And I don't enjoy him suffering. And there's a part of me that feels like me wanting him to be away from us and out of the house, that him being like this is my fault because I want him to be away from us. And I know that's irrational. I know it's completely irrational. But that Saturday at the end of March, I'm the one that called 911 and had him taken out of here because he wasn't eating or drinking, and my mom was sick. She couldn't deal with him. And there was a possibility he could start throwing up and having diarrhea, and we couldn't deal with that, especially not in the condition mom was in. And if he can't stand or bear weight, we can't take care of him because he has to be able to stand and transfer and sit on a bedside commode. And if he can't do that, we can't take care of him because we can't roll him to change an adult diaper. He's too big and cumbersome and uncooperative. He'll cooperate with like a doctor or a nurse, but not like family. It's complicated. So it's like I've got my wish, but I am so mired in guilt about it. I've got my wish that he's not around right now, but I feel so guilty. And I feel like I've done something bad, even though I haven't. I would never wish him harm. I would never do him harm. So like it was just I want him to go away, and now he has. But this is the price, is that he's scared and suffering, and we don't know what the future's going to look like. I don't know if he's going to see another birthday after this one. And there's a part of me that wants it to be over because this is miserable for him. It's not even for my sake or my mom's, it's him. He's miserable. He's just kind of laying there existing. He can sort of respond to you, but you can't understand anything he says. And if he continues to deteriorate, he's going to have to go to a nursing home because we can't take care of him like this. It'd be impossible to keep the feeding tube clean. It would be impossible to keep him clean of pee and poop. It would just be impossible. He needs people that can flip him over in bed, change him, clean him, bathe him and everything, and we just can't do that if he can't bear weight. So I don't know what the future looks like right now. And I feel bad for wishing for him to go away, because not like this. I just want him to be someone else's responsibility, but not if it means he has to suffer like this. So I feel like I caused this by wanting it. By wanting him to go away, I caused this to happen to him. And like I said, it's irrational. But trauma is rarely ever rational in the sense of how it affects you. It makes you think and believe crap that untraumatized you would say, what? So, it's a conflict. It's a conflict.